Good evening and good day, whatever time it is for you. I'm thankful that you're here. I'm looking forward to spending time with you. Hey everyone, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome in, welcome in. Today we've got a topic that is dear to my heart. It's very dear to my heart. Ooh, the hair's out of control today. We're going to just roll with it, folks. Today I want to talk about trying again when we fail. I have some really good news to share with y'all. And before we get started, I do want to tell y'all that I am totally open to you coming up and hanging out with me again this evening. I'm going to get the link here for you. If you want to come up and talk about failure and trying again, or if you have something that's heavy on your heart or something to celebrate, anything at all that you want to discuss, including things that are on topic, which is trying again today, you are welcome to come and join me. It would be great to have your company. Again, I don't think I introduced myself today. My name is Tara. I am an engineer and peer support specialist, and I specialize in supporting people in recovery from mental health conditions and substance misuse. So if that is you, I'm so glad you're here. You're in the right place. If that is not you, I'm so glad you're here. You're in the right place. Everybody is welcome here. This is an inclusive environment, so let's please be respectful in the comments section. If you come up as a guest, let's be respectful and mindful of where other people are at in their recovery journey. Remember, everybody's recovery is their own to define, and it looks different for everybody. So without further ado, I want to talk about a personal failure of mine, which some of you may be aware of, some of you may not be. So I'll give you the Cliff Notes version right now. And if you want the nitty-gritty details, you can go back to my last video. And oh, it looks like we've got Tony here. We've got Tony. Let me bring Tony up and we can talk about my failure. And let's see what Tony wants to talk about too. Hey, Tony, welcome in.
Hey,
It's nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good, good. I love your plant that you've got behind you.
Oh, here. So this one is strawberry. This one is ruffles.
Ooh.
That is luck. Luck has some that they die and then they come back. That is aloe. And that is my princess.
Aw, so you've got, ooh, I like your Cubs sign too. My family are Cubs fans as well. So
That's Nathan or Dustin's Cubs.
okay.
He's a big Cubs fan. He became a Cubs fan when he was a child. His grandfather was very much a Cubs fan. So
Right on. Well, go Cubs, go. Rev Rashim, we've got Rev Rashim in the house. Rev says, good evening, Tara. I hope you're doing well and looking wonderful tonight. Well, thank you very much, Rashim. That's very kind of you. And the Critter Life says, sweet plants, Tony.
Oh, thank you. I love my plants. I baby them.
Aw,
Be good.
Critter Life, I don't know that I've seen you in this live stream before. It's so nice to have your company here. Welcome in. And John Mendoza also in the house saying, hey, Tara, I'm here early for your live. Well, John Mendoza, I'm so glad you made it. So, Tony, did you hear what I had in mind for the topic tonight?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry, just really fast. I am going to work on my kitchen while we talk.
Okay.
But I'm here.
She's multitasking, folks.
I'm multitasking.
Rev says, since Mother's Day is coming up soon, what was the best advice your mom ever gave you? Rev, I love your questions. I know I've said it before and I will continue to say it. Your questions are so rich. And hi, Mom. I know my mom will probably watch this replay. And she loved it, Tony, last week when you said hi to her. She was like, she said hi to me.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom. So Rashim asks a really good question. What's the best advice your mom ever gave you? And I would love to hear your response to this too, Tony. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. Let me think. I got to scan my brain here for a second.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Because this is a big question and I know that my mom will probably hear this. So what is the best advice my mom ever gave me? I think probably she taught me this. It's something I learned later in life too, but she's the one who taught me this first. And that is if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good one.
that's a really good one. I think that comes from a lot of parents. They're like, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think for my mom, with my mom, best advice from my mom. I don't know that it's advice so much as it is a wish for me. I was a very difficult child because I was bipolar, but we didn't know it. And of course, I was born in 68. So back then, my growing up, there wasn't a lot known about bipolar. So she looked at me one day and she goes, I hope you don't have the issues with your children that I had with you. And now I have Jonathan. So, but no, she always just wanted what was best for me. She was generally always proud of me and just loved me for who I was, even though I hid a lot from them growing up. But yeah, she loved me for me, and that's what I loved the most.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Because there's a lot of people out there that don't have that, where their parents just accept them for who they are. And so to be able to have a parent like that, like both my parents were that way. They accepted me for who I was. But trying to multitask and think at the same time doesn't always work. But yeah, I just like, be true to yourself, love yourself, So, and that's what I've done. I mean, I struggle to do sometimes. I think we all do.
Sure, of course. I think while we're on the topic, something that has stuck with me too that my mom repeats to me that she learned from her mom, so this was passed down from my grandma, was that the more attention you give something, the bigger it gets.
Yes.
And that's really a really great piece of advice, I think, because oftentimes I want to focus on the problem and fix the problem, but if I'm focusing on the problem, it's likely to get bigger. So focusing on a solution could be a better use of energy rather than focusing on
the problem. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not always easy when you try to focus on the solution because that problem is like in your face all the time. So you have to get yourself into a mindset that, okay, so that's the problem. Now, how do I move away from the problem to the solution and not let it sit in my face? And it takes work, but it can be done.
Absolutely. The Critter Life says, thank you. Been in your live a few times. Well, I'm so glad you're back, Critter Life. Says, enjoy your content. Keep up the good stuff. I will do my best. Just for you, Critter Life. Zenwen in the house. Hey, Zenwen. Nice to see you.
Hi, Zenwen.
She says, one of the best sayings ever, also said by Thumper in Bambi. LOL. I don't know which one you're referencing, Zenwen, but I'm glad that. Do you know which one was referenced?
If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Right on. Yeah, that's right. I forgot it was in Bambi.
Yep.
Rashim says, the best advice my mom gave me was don't waste the gifts and talents that God has blessed you with.
That is really good.
That is very good. John Mendoza, sometimes we got to put someone in their place, even if it's uncomfortable. That's how people learn sometimes, or not.
Yep.
And I agree with you, John. I think sometimes we do have to communicate uncomfortable or difficult things to people. That doesn't mean we have to be mean about it. And I think that's what my mom was getting at, was that I think it goes back to that pep feedback. Some people don't like the idea of pep feedback, and I can totally respect that. I think there's a kind way to approach every type of communication. I don't think that we ever need to be unkind in order to make a point.
No. I mean, we have a saying in my home. Think once before you speak, think twice before you act, and think 3 times before you put anything on the internet.
Mm,
And we adapted that saying to that because so many times, you know, children put something out there and then they wish they hadn't. I mean, I have when I was younger, but we really need to stop and think really seriously 3 times before we put stuff out on the internet because it's there forever. It is there forever. And people are like, well, I can delete it. Yeah, but people take screenshots
sure.
and then it goes back out there. You can't get rid of it.
Right.
It's there.
Right.
So it's really important that, you know, I let people know to think really hard before they throw anything out there on the internet and think about what they're saying. Because again, what you say can hurt somebody else,
Absolutely.
you know?
And speaking of which, John Mendoza says, treat others the way you want to be treated. That should be everyone's golden rule.
Yep.
Zenwen, I so needed to hear this right. Oh, I forgot I could put the comments up on the screen. So Zenwen says, I so needed to hear this right now. Thank you. Yeah, this is my second time using StreamYard, everyone. So bear with me while I get used to this. I'm used to streaming from YouTube and not being able to put the comments up.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. That's a
You're
very
doing
kind
really
thing to say. Zenwen says, hi, Tony.
Hi, Zenwen.
And John Mendoza, that's true too. So speaking of
What John Mendoza say? I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
that's true too. Probably with respect to some of the advice that was being discussed. Yeah. So speaking of not ever being able to take things down, I do wonder if me being open and honest about what happened with my test was a good move for me or a mistake. It is embarrassing that I'm going to have to retake that test again. The reason being, folks, if you're not aware, if you haven't seen my last video, go check it out. But my phone alarm went off in the middle of my exam, and I failed it because of that. The proctor ended my exam, and because I'd only made it halfway through, I actually failed the exam because my alarm went off. So good news is that they are giving me a courtesy retest. I am not going to have to pay for it.
And that's good.
That's the best news that I've gotten in quite some time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think in terms of trying again, which is the topic of this stream, I don't know who needs to hear this or if anybody watching this on the live needs to hear this, or maybe somebody on the replay, this will benefit. Sometimes we fail. And for me, it's been embarrassing to admit it. I can't actually believe that I put it out on the internet that, yeah, my alarm went off. I failed the test because my alarm went off. That's embarrassing. But it happened. And now I've been given a gift, which is an opportunity to retake the test without having to pay the $150 that it costs to take the test.
That's really good.
Thank God. Thank God. So on that note, speaking of which, this is a test to become a certified Medi-Cal peer support specialist. I am currently a certified peer support specialist. I do not have the ability to bill insurance at this point in time. That's what this test is for. So I am meeting with people one-on-one. I do private sessions, and I would be so happy to meet with anybody in here who would want to do a one-on-one session with me. Just send me an email. I'm going to put my email in the chat. I am getting a good amount of bookings. I am running a special right now, $15 for 30 minutes. And while supplies last, because people are taking advantage of it, which is a fantastic thing. I won't be able to keep it up forever.
No, but that's good. I mean, they're keeping you busy, and that's the important part.
Yes, absolutely. And I recently just got a job. So I put my email in the chat for y'all. Feel free to email me if you want to work with me one-on-one or have any kind of questions. I'm happy to answer your questions. Bear with me. A lot of my emails have been going into the spam folder, and so I don't get notifications about them. So I'm starting to make a habit of checking my spam, but just bear with me if it seems like I'm taking a while to get back to your email. It might have gone into the spam folder.
Yeah, I gotta watch that spam.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so John Mendoza says, imagine if our school system taught us to treat others the way you want to be treated instead of teaching us how to compete with each other.
Or accepting bullies to bully.
Right?
You
That's a
know, I
good
mean,
point.
if they would stop the bullying before it even starts, think of how the schools would be. Think about how different it would be. The kids would learn to accept each other for who they are and how they are, with whatever maladies they have, whatever illnesses they have, seen or unseen, whatever their skin color, whatever their religious beliefs, everything. I mean, I'm the type of person that I can honestly, truly say there's only one type of person I absolutely hate, and I don't use the word hate often.
And what type of person is that?
A ped,
A ped? What is a ped?
pedo.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to say the whole word.
Sure, yeah, I understand now. I was not understanding.
Those ones, as far as I'm concerned, my husband has a very good way to deal with them. You tie them to like 4 stakes with their arms and legs out, and you have a very young sapling tree, and you wet a piece of leather and wrap it around their lower portion, and then let the sun dry that leather out. And as that leather dries out, yank.
Wow, that is intense.
It's very intense, but in my opinion, probably well deserved for what they put children through.
Hmm.
That's how much
Reverend,
I dislike them.
that's understandable. That's definitely understandable. Rashim says she was awesome during our session the other day. Rev, I appreciate the feedback. It was a pleasure working with you. And I appreciate you sharing that information.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Zenwen put some positive emojis. I always love Zenwen is full of positive emojis.
Yeah, I like Zenwin. Zenwin's always on the positive side.
Yeah. And Mayonnaise Entertainment in the house. Oh, I keep forgetting I can put the comments up on the on the screen. I got to remember this, folks. I'm learning here. I'm finding my sea legs. So, Mayonnaise Entertainment in the house. Hello, Tara. I got your live. Yay. I'm so glad you're here. So, y'all, we're talking about trying again this evening. And I shared a little bit about something that I am working on trying again. I haven't got through the whole thing yet, but I am working on retesting for my Medi-Cal peer support specialist exam. My alarm went off during my first exam and the proctor ended. It was an online exam. The proctor ended it because my alarm went off. And I'm going to have to take it again. So I want to know, is there something that you're working on in your life that maybe didn't go the way that you planned it the first time? And Tony, I want to hear what you have to say about this. I want to challenge the chat also. See you. Looking good, Tara. I remember the last time I watched, you were having some problem with eyes or something. I forget. You know what? See you. It might have been my teeth. I was having some teeth issues not long ago. I got swollen. I had to have an extraction, but I'm doing much better now.
That's good. Teeth are the worst.
It was so bad. I've never missed a live before, but I actually had to end one early because my jaw, my like gums and my jaw hurt so bad.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I never went to college as a child. I was told, you don't need to go to college. The world's going to end, blah, blah, blah. So once I was married to Nathan, I decided to go to college. I attended 2 different colleges. One, I was going to go for being an ASL translator. And after my first year, I realized that my brain can't do that. I don't have the capacity to be able to think in two languages and go back and forth. So I was like, okay, so this isn't for me. So I stopped going to college. I had a year in. And then I went to Columbia College here in Columbia. And I attended for a year and a half. And then I quit again. I can't do this. I can't do this. And finally, when I went for my third try, my husband looked at me. He goes, okay, this is your last try. If you go back, you have to stick with it until you're done. Well, I did. And I got my degree. It's a general education degree, but I have a minor in business, finance, and accounting.
Wow, right on. You're very
yeah.
well-rounded.
Yeah, so I was really proud of myself for getting that done, but it took me 3 tries.
Okay.
3 tries. So it's that matter of how much do I really want this?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
how much does this mean to me that I get this? And to me, it was really, really important. And I had to do it. I had to get this degree. And I worked my butt off and I got my degree and I walked the stage and my family hooted and hollered for me. And yeah, one of the proudest moments of my life.
Aw, well, I'm so proud of you for getting that done. Third time's the charm. And I can relate to third time's the charm. I'm hoping that the third time's my charm because this will actually be my third attempt at taking this test. The first time, I wasn't able to take photographs with my phone like they wanted. I was able to take half of the photographs of my testing area, but I wasn't able to take photographs of everything that they wanted. My phone wouldn't let me. And so they gave me a courtesy retest on that, thank God. But then during the second test, that's when my alarm went off in the middle of it. So I can
Third time's the charm.
I'm hoping the third time's the charm for me, just like it was for you.
So one suggestion, make sure your alarm's off before you sit down to take the test.
For sure.
Or let the alarm keep going until you're done your test.
Well, had I just told the proctor in the chat, my alarm is going off, can I please turn it off? They would have given me permission and I could have turned it off, but I didn't think to get permission. I just acted and I reached over and turned it off and they terminated my exam.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was my mistake.
Yeah. And I mean, we all make mistakes. We all do things that we have to think 2 or 3 times on before we get it right. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as a learning experience. Okay, so the first time my camera wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, so we got to retry. Second time, my alarm went off. I reached for my alarm. I should have asked first. Got it. So just make sure there's no distractions around you, no alarms, no nothing. If the alarm does go off, remember to ask first before you reach. Stop
anything. If anything happens, I have to communicate it. Yeah.
Just stop and think. Like, I know that we naturally just react to things.
Yep.
And that's where that think once before you speak, think twice before you act, and think 3 times before you put on anything on the internet. So if you keep that in mind, you're going to stop and go, okay, wait. Okay, got to do this before I can do this, or I'm going to be in trouble.
Right. Yeah.
So that should help. But and I learned something else. If you say something to yourself 3 times out loud, it will imprint in your brain.
So if I say, I'm going to pass this test, I'm going to pass this test, this time I'm going to pass this test, the next time I take it,
you'll pass the test.
Okay, the next time I take it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and that's the focus, right on. Mm-hmm. So Zenwen said, please remember to thumbs up for Tara's channel. I appreciate that, Zenwen. Yeah, it helps me a lot when y'all thumbs up when you come in. I actually forgot to schedule this in advance this week. I had a lot of stuff going on last week, and I did not remember to schedule this in advance. So it does help to put me in other people's feeds to remind them that we're live, so that we can have, the more the merrier type of thing in here.
Exactly.
Zenwen says, nice to meet everybody. And it's so nice to have you in here. Zenwen, is this your first time here? Because it is very nice to see you. So I'm wondering, nobody seems to respond or answer to my question about, is there something that you're working on trying again? So it looks like maybe me and Tony are the only people who have had to try things again. Or if you've got a past story, I'd be interested to hear what your past story is. What is it that you worked through that you had to try multiple times? Luke is in the house.
Yes. There's a lot of times we have to try again. And I know that comes from one of the Disney movies. I don't remember which one, but it's one of them. But yeah, it's if we don't try, we won't succeed. If we give up, we won't succeed. Now, is it wrong to take a break if we need to take a break for a short term? No, there's nothing wrong with taking a short break. Everybody needs to take a break every now and then. But make sure you get back to what it is you want to get done. I write creatively. I write poetry. I write stories. I'm getting ready to publish a book. And now I'm just waiting on raising the funds for it. And that I'm not asking anybody to help me with it. I'm just saying I have to have the funds for it. And I'm waiting on my illustrator, who actually lives in the same area I grew up in, only in Norway instead of Canada. And so she can do the artwork for my children's book. And but it took me a while to get that children's book done, because I sat on it and I procrastinated, but I finally got it done. And then when I found a publisher I liked and I sent it to them, now they're really excited to publish it for me.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that's like really, really encouraging. So, matter of fact, she said, there's a book that's going to go on my wish list of books that I want. And that just made me feel really good, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, hi, Lila. Once I heard that, it just it encouraged me even more to push forward with getting everything done I needed to get done so I can get this book published.
That's a huge goal that you're working on right now. And I want to say, hey to Seventh Son Steva, welcome in. I'm glad you're here, Seventh Son.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Luke is saying trying to be motivated again. And I'm wondering, Luke, is that with respect to anything in particular, or is that motivation in general that you're talking about? Zenwen, this is the first time catching you live. Zenwen, yep, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Zenwen said she missed the question. Okay, Zenwen, the question is there something that you're currently working on that maybe you didn't get through the first way? Like I use the word failure. Maybe the word failure isn't the best word to use. Tony pointed out that maybe focusing on having to try again would be the better way, a more constructive way to look at it. So is there something you've had to try multiple times to actually succeed in it in the past, or is there something that you're currently working through? I shared a little bit of a story about how I'm working through something. It'll be my third attempt because of circumstances partly out of my control and partly within my control. I'm working on so I'm a peer support specialist. I'm certified with the state of California to provide peer support services. I am in the process of getting my Medi-Cal certification, and my alarm went off during my test that I recently took, and the proctor ended my exam because my alarm went off. So I have been given a courtesy retest. I'll be able to take it again free of charge, thank God. So I'm just wondering if anybody can relate. Is there something that you're working through right now that's really important to you that it didn't quite work out the way that you wanted the first time or the second time?
Kind of like that try again.
Exactly. Not lacking motivation, enjoying cycles, says Luke. See you. I fix things all day, mostly computers. I tell people I'm not that smart. I just never give up. It's usually right when I feel like giving up that I'll figure out what's wrong and fix things. Isn't that interesting how that works? See you. That's a really good point. Is that it's just when we feel like giving up, which is kind of how I feel right now with this Medi-Cal certification. It's like, do I really even want this? But the truth is I do really want it. And I've been studying even more now because I'm like, man, maybe what if I wouldn't have passed it for intellectual reasons or something like that? So I've been studying all I can.
And just think, instead of them being failures, think of them as giving you time to do that studying so that you're more prepared for this test, so that when you do take the test, you'll pass the test and you'll get your Medi-Cal.
Yeah.
Which is perfect, because that's what you want. So I'm such a positive person, and I always like to try to look at the brighter side of things, not the negative side of things. So quite often, people say, well, this didn't work out because blah, 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 blah. And I'll be, well, wait a second. Maybe it didn't work out because at this moment you weren't ready for it, or you had made a mistake, so now you have to fix that mistake to make it work, and it's a learning experience. And so I try to look at the positive, because if you look at the positive, it makes it easier to move forward.
Totally. Yeah, I agree with you on that 100%. The Critter Life says, I tried getting off Zans countless times, got like 15 months clean now. The Critter Life coming in with 15 months clean. That is so exciting, Critter Life.
Yay.
I'm really proud of you. That's hard work there. I hope you keep up the hard work. And thanks for sharing that, Critter Life.
That is so awesome.
Rachel, Miss Sweet and Salty in the house, just dropping in to say, hey, Rachel, it's so nice to see you. Welcome in. Glad you're stopping in. Rach says, yeah, I'm on my 9,789,324th try to get off Bupe, but I'm still trucking. Well, Rachel, I'm really proud of you that you're still trucking. What were you going to say, Tony?
Oh, I was going to agree with you. That's awesome. Not giving up. That's the thing. The human desire to achieve things is really, really, really strong. And as long as we hang on to that desire to achieve what it is we want to achieve, we will eventually achieve it. And we can't look at a slip as something bad. It's just a slip. You just get back up and keep going,
Absolutely.
and don't look at that. And don't let it take time away from what you're trying to achieve either. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. I quit smoking cigarettes, and then I started smoking them again, and now I'm back off of them again. I only smoked for about a week on cigarettes, but I did. Okay, but I've still been off cigarettes for 3 months now.
Wow.
With a little 1 week piece in there that I slipped, but I'm not going to let that slip ruin the rest of my forward motion.
Absolutely. And it doesn't negate that slip. I mean, that it doesn't negate all the hard work that you did up to that point. And now you're back on the horse.
Yep. And now I'm back on the horse. And that's the thing, you have that slip. Okay. You slipped what, for a day or two? Okay. So it's still part of your recovery. It's still part of that moving forward and getting to where you're not taking that, or you're not drinking that, or you're not spending your money on dumb stuff that you shouldn't be spending your money on. Talking personally here.
Of course. Yeah.
you know. I have an addictive personality. I can get addicted to certain things, other things not so much. Like alcohol is not a problem for me. Medications aren't a problem for me. Spending money is a problem for me.
Mm.
Playing games on my phone and spending money on the games on my phone is a problem for me. Playing lottery tickets is a problem for me because it's that, what do you call it? That chemical that releases in your brain.
Dopamine.
Dopamine. It's that dopamine shot that you get when you're doing them and thinking, oh, am I going to win? Am I going to win? Am I going to win?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I have to be really careful
Mm-hmm.
because it's real easy for me to blow a budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can relate to that too. I'm on a very, very tight budget right now. Sometimes a little bit of retail therapy feels really good, but if I take it too far, then I blow my budget and I put myself in a rough spot. So
Yeah.
I gotta be careful too with the budget.
Yeah.
So Zenwen asked, what is bupe? So bupe, I think Rachel answered the question. Buprenorphine is a type of medicated assisted treatment for people coming off of opioids, Zenwen. Rachel, I would love to have Rachel on sometime to talk about her experience with Sublocade. It's a shot. Some people take it orally. Some people get the shot to get off of things like fentanyl. And I'm not, that's not what Rachel was on. Rachel had, I'm not going to spoil the story and share what her experience was that led her down the path to being on bupe. But it works for a lot of people to help them. It's like a harm reduction type of model where medicated assisted treatment, it sort of replaces people's, it replaces people's need to get high and helps them come off of opioids like heroin and fentanyl and other things too. Rachel wasn't on either of those, but I would love to have you on, Rach, sometime and be able to tell your story because I don't want to get any of the details wrong.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Luke, divinely timed life. Maybe that's what's going on, Luke. I've got some help from the heavens above. My God helping me to stay on track. So see you. Yep, just keep studying, right? Keep trying to move forward. Yep. When things get hard, make sure you push harder so you stay above water and don't go backwards. Staying stable and steady is better than backwards. Well said. See you.
That was really well said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Zenwen. Wow, there are so many for me. Okay, Zenwen's got some stories. I smoked for a very long time and then I quit for 2 years and started again. Now I'm down to 3 to 4 cigarettes a day and hoping to quit soon. Well, Zenwen, you're making some progress. Go ahead on, Tony, you can relate recently to this. What do you have to tell Zenwen?
So I had quit for 3 years and then I met Dustin and I started smoking cigars with him and then I progressed back to cigarettes and everything. So then I smoked for about 4.5 years and then I quit this January, February, something like that. And I haven't smoked except for that one little week. Now I do vape because vaping helps me cut back until I get down to where like I'll put my vape down someplace and I'll walk away and I'll lose it. And then like maybe 4 days later, I'll come back and find it. And I was like, oh, that's where that's at. And I'll pick it up, take a hit, put it back down, forget where I put it again because I moved it to a different place and eventually get to the point of why am I even hitting this? I don't need it. Why am I doing this? There's no reason for it. So, because that's how I quit the last time. And so that's what I'm doing this time again. And it's even now getting to where I don't really even need my vape as much. So, yeah, you've got this, Zenwen. You've got this. You can do this. I mean, if you did it once, you can do it again. It's just one of the hardest things is the hardest habit of smoking to break is that first one in the morning. If you can get up in the morning and get through your morning routine without having that cigarette, you might have to change your routine up a little bit so that you don't go to grab that cigarette. Like you sit down, have your coffee and your cigarette, whatever. Change it up a little bit. Instead of having coffee first thing, drink a glass of water and then have your coffee, or do something between your water and coffee. That will make you not think about that cigarette, that first morning cigarette. And if you can get past the first hour or two without that first cigarette, it makes it a little bit easier to go a little bit longer and a little bit longer throughout the day without having that cigarette.
That's some good guidance there. Then when I'm also curious, when you quit for the 2 years, how did you manage to stay quit for that 2 years? What worked for you during that time? Because it sounds like, yeah, you're hoping to quit soon, like completely off of them. For me, what really helped, because I smoked for a really long time too, both cigarettes and marijuana. And it's usually together, a lot of times together in the same spliff. I had to shift. The first time I quit smoking cigarettes, I started sucking on a lot of mints. I had to carry a pack of like icebreaker mints with me, and that really helped just to be able. I also replaced one addiction for another. I started smoking a lot more of the green stuff when I stopped smoking cigarettes, but that was just a part of my recovery journey. You know, maybe you don't want to smoke anything at all, Zenwin, and I am not suggesting to smoke green stuff. I don't partake in that anymore. I'm in recovery from the green stuff, but there was a point in time where part of my recovery journey did include it. So I'm curious, Zenwin, what has worked for you before? Rachel says it's hard, huh, Zenwin? Quitting smoking cigarettes is hard.
It's one of the hardest addictions to quit.
Absolutely, 100%. Especially when that's the last thing to go. Like for me, I let go of alcohol, all the illicit drugs. I was still dabbling with hallucinogenics at the time that I got clean and sober, but I let go of marijuana and tobacco at the same time. And that was the last thing that I was actually addicted to. Yeah, I didn't have alcohol anymore. I got clean and sober.
Right.
Oh, it looks like Zenwin's hopping on to join us. Let me bring Zenwin up here.
Yay, Zenwin.
Zenwin in the house. How are you doing, Zenwin? Oh, can you hear us, Zenwin? Because we cannot hear you.
No.
I'm going to give her
Hold
a minute.
on, hello.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Zenwin.
I had to mute my YouTube so that I don't echo. So
Oh, yes. I'm so glad that you did that. Welcome
Hi.
in. How are you doing?
Better since I came on here live today, but I really like what you're talking about today. It's funny. It's like really what I needed to hear. So yeah, I'm glad I'm here. And I wanted to say you had asked me a question about the smoking thing, and I wanted to answer, but no, I forgot.
The question was then, what has worked for you before? Like when you came off the cigarettes for those 2 years, how did you do it?
Oh, okay. Well, it was really funny. I wanted to quit. I had smoked for a long time, and it was weird. I don't know if it was a mental thing or what, but I wasn't smoking as many. And the last time I lit up a cigarette, I had like half of it, and it just made me nauseous. It's weird. And I just said, you know what? Why am I doing this? And so I just was blessed to be able to just quit like that. So
wow, okay,
kind of bizarre. And then I stayed off because I smoke menthol, unfortunately, and most people I know don't. And so I wasn't tempted to bum cigarettes off anybody usually because I wasn't around. Yeah, menthol. And then that's when I started again. Was I saw somebody had some menthol cigarettes. I thought, oh, I can just have one. And I had been at a bar drinking, of course, back then. And yeah, and then I started smoking again. So,
you know what's funny is that I used to smoke menthols as well, and I was hanging out with my dad after I'd been quit for 7 years. I was hanging out with my dad, and he smokes menthols. And I looked at him and I was just like, can I hit that please? And he gave it to me. And then I asked him for a full cigarette. And then I was back on the horse again for a few weeks myself because of those darn menthols.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it was funny. It was winter and it was cold out and we'd all just gotten out of the bar. And I'm just like, just one, really. I can do just one. I can just have one. And actually I did just have one. And then a week later I saw this person again and I was like, you know what? And I had another cigarette and then I went and got a pack and said I was going to smoke one and give the rest to him. And yeah, it ended up, I kept him and I started smoking again. So yeah, unfortunately. So, but I do that with a lot of things. Unfortunately, like I'm right now working on, as soon as I can get the cigarettes, get that problem licked, I really need to lose weight again because with all this other stuff going on in my life and stress and being sober, I ended up gaining a bunch of weight. So I started eating a bunch of sugar and chocolate and ice cream and really unhealthy things. So now that's my next challenge. Is losing weight. And I, like Tony, I have an addictive personality. So
it stings, don't it?
Yeah.
Rachel, I'm seeing you talking about coming on, and I don't know if you're talking about sometime in the future or tonight, but if you're still here and want to come up today, I just dropped the link in the chat, so feel free to join us. Or we can bring you on, anytime in the future. You're always welcome here, Rach. I hope you know that. Isaac in the house. Isaac says the hardest part of addiction is telling your brain to stop it.
Yes.
Anne-Marie in the house too. Welcome in, Anne-Marie. It's nice to see you. She says she's too nauseous to say much, so she's listening. Anne-Marie, I'm so sorry you're feeling nauseous. Definitely take care of yourself, but I'm glad you're here with us.
Sometimes just listening helps when you don't feel good.
Yeah, definitely. I've had to do that plenty of times. So Rachel says the hardest one for me is not smoking while I'm on the phone with Tara. LOL, I don't smoke in the morning or typically until nighttime, but that's when I struggle. I must just evoke some sort of smoking vibes, but I think Rachel and I talk on the phone. She's been very busy as of late. She's had some house guests and things like that, but she'll tend to like step out to get a break on a cigarette and call me because she's got a break. So Rach, I hope that it's not me that makes you want to smoke, but I'll be your smoke buddy while you're still doing it for sure.
I was going to say really quick that the other thing is I actually don't. That first cigarette in the morning is actually the one I'm probably going to quit next because actually I only smoke like a couple puffs and then I don't want any more really. I'm a nighttime smoker too. And the other weird thing is I used to always read and smoke before I went to bed. I'd read all the time. I was an avid reader. And when I quit smoking, I couldn't read anymore because the correlation, it just, and ever since then, I have a hard time reading now. It's just ridiculous, even still. But I don't know. That's all I want to say. Sorry.
Right on. No, you're good. I'm glad you're here, Zenwin. It's so nice to hear your voice. Maybe one of these days I'll get to see your beautiful face. No pressure. So Cosmic Christy in the house. Hey, Cosmic. Megan in the house. Welcome in, Megan. And I think I saw Ben sneak in too. Yep. Hey, Ben. Here. It's nice to have you here, Ben, as always. Critter Life, I was on the menthols too. Cosmic says I also used to smoke menthol. So it's funny because you were saying, Zenwin, how you don't know anybody who smokes menthol, but I was like, man, that was my jam. We've got a few people, Rachel in here included, who still smokes menthols.
Wow.
That's what I spoke to.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Funny.
So, but Tara, you are really good at picking topics.
Well, thank you.
You picked an awesome topic for today. I mean, it kind of has segued into, but it still pertains because you think about it. We stop smoking and then we pick it back up again.
Yeah.
And then we stop again. And it's like this journey, and we can't let ourselves get down on ourselves if we do pick the habit up again, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. That's the thing you have to keep in mind. Is it hurting somebody else if I pick up this habit again? If it does, then it's really important to make sure that we break that habit and don't pick it up again.
Well, what if it hurts ourselves? Does that count?
You know, I've been thinking about that, and I think it does count because it's not healthy for us. And then we smell, and then those that we love, they come up to hug us or kiss us or whatever, and they're like, ugh, you know. So it's really, it's important for our own safety that we quit, but we just have to keep trucking, just, you know, step by step. You know, you might have a little slip, but get back to those steps, and eventually you get there. Sometimes it takes a short amount of time, sometimes it takes a longer amount of time, but you get there, and you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, just like you're going to achieve passing this test.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Well, you've been studying more for it and everything, right?
Yeah, I have been.
And so not doing it those 2 times has given you more study time. So now you're studying more, so you're getting more of that information in your brain.
It's true. It's true. And I actually discovered that I missed a bunch of stuff on the SAMHSA website, the Substance Abuse Mental Health Association, I think is what that stands for. I could be wrong about that. Maybe I should figure out what that acronym stands for. But I've found out just this weekend that I missed a lot of content on there that will be helpful for the exam. Now, would I have passed without it? I think so. I got the feeling that I was on the track toward passing when my alarm went off in the middle of the exam, and I failed because of that. But if I don't know, maybe it was my higher power protecting me in some way and saying, no, actually, like there's some things, maybe even if it didn't have anything to do with me passing the test, perhaps it will allow me to serve someone more efficiently and to a higher level than I would have had I not known what's on that website.
Right. So, and that's why I always look at the positive. Okay. Yeah. Slipped up. Okay. This time we've got it, you know? And it's just, it's keeping that positive mind, which sometimes is hard to do. But that's what having people around you is for, and having good communities is for, because then you have that encouragement, that support, that you've got this, you can do this, I believe in you, I have faith in you. And it's just those positive words sometimes that just makes accomplishing what we want to accomplish that much easier. What you think, Zenlin?
Luke says, much of my recovery is like that, seemingly guided. When I used to get sick, like a gentle reminder. It took multiple times realizing that using equals sick. That's a good point, Luke. And Rach, I didn't mean to skip over your comment. How long will you guys be on? I don't know. I was planning on going for half an hour, and or an hour, I mean, which is, 7 more minutes, but we'll see where the conversation goes. And if, I like riding waves, so we'll ride it while people are here and engaged. We'll just keep riding the wave.
Well, last week we went over 2 hours.
I know. It felt right to me. Yeah. Megan, I traded smokes for the vape. Vaping has helped me put down ciggies, but the convenience of vaping is hard. You can do it inside, and all the fun flavors can really trap a person. Yeah, yes. I've heard they're getting rid of all those fruity flavors in a lot of different places.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Even you can't even buy menthol cigarettes, and it's not vaping, but you can't even buy menthols in California anymore.
Well, you can't get menthol in Canada either.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How come?
Because it's flavored.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you should see their cigarette packs. They're really gross.
Oh, Canadian. Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, they're really gross.
Yeah,
I
I've
had
seen
I
'em.
had a I have a high school friend from Canada that came down for a visit and brought me a couple of packs of Canadian cigarettes, and I'm like, these are really disgusting. These are like, yeah.
Well, we have two more really quick things, and I'm probably going to jump off because I can't read chat while I'm up here, unfortunately. I just can see what you put up, so I want to go back and chat.
Sure.
And the other thing is, I totally forgot. Never mind.
Oh no, I can't help you on this one. I can't.
I do the
It
same
just went
thing.
right on by.
Well, if you remember it, feel free to drop it in the chat, and I'll bring it up and read it.
All right. Thanks. It was good to come on a minute.
Yeah, Zenwen, it was so nice to have you here. You're welcome anytime.
It was nice
Okay,
talking to you,
thanks.
Zenwen.
You too. Bye for now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Mayonnaise Entertainment says, I quit doing hard drugs with less harder drugs till I didn't want any more. Then I replaced my probably replaced my addiction, maybe is what he meant. Probably not the healthiest way. I missed a lot of addictions with other addictions because I'm an addict.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally get that statement.
Yeah, and I have identified as an addict in the past as well. I actually don't anymore. That word, I think, and to each their own. Everybody has the right to define recovery as they see it. I am 3 years clean and sober now, and I don't feel like an addict anymore. I feel, obviously I had some issues that I had to work through. Otherwise, I wouldn't be to the point where I had to stay clean and sober. But I'm happy to report that although my journey looked a lot like Mayonnaise Entertainment, like I replaced one thing for another, which helped me get to the next phase, which, it was a process. I am happy to report that I'm not really feeling like an addict or an alcoholic these days, although I do abstain from use. Ben, did Tara get her colors picked? Not yet, Ben. I'm still working on it, honestly. Ben is talking about the colors for my business that I'm developing. I'm starting a peer support specialist agency. And I had shared over on Carol's channel at Needing a Meeting that I was in the process of picking colors for the business. And nope, I'm still working on it, Ben.
What colors are you thinking about?
I really like green and blue, but the thing is there's, an infinite number of shades of those. So the color here where the names are being displayed,
Mm-hmm.
this color I took from a photograph that I took. It's the photograph that I use in the background of all my videos for my channel. I used a piece of software to extract a color from that, and this is that color, and I really like it. I don't know if that's what I'm going to use yet, though, because the challenge that I'm running into is that it needs to be something that I can use on different types of advertisements, like different social media platforms and things, and I just haven't found the right color combination that I think looks good in all the different places. So I'm on the hunt. I'm working really hard to.
It'll hit one day. Like, one day you're going to put two colors together and you're going to take them across those platforms. And you're going to be like, oh, that's it.
This is it.
I got it.
Yeah.
So it just takes time sometimes, just
Yeah.
like anything else in life, it takes time.
Yeah. And then the other challenge is how many colors, do I want to pick 2? Do I want to pick 3 or 5 for the palette? Whew, big decision.
I wouldn't go over 3.
You think 3?
Yeah, I wouldn't go over 3 because the more color you add, the busier it starts to look.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it gets too busy, then they're attracted to the colors and not the words that you're trying to get out there.
True.
So I wouldn't go more than 3 colors.
Yeah, true. Megan says, Ben Bacon Bits, I like this name handle the most so far versus others. Yeah, Ben has a good name. Rachel, that website seems like a really good resource. It's such a great resource, Rach. And maybe not to backtrack too much, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but in retrospect, I'm kind of glad that I didn't pass, even though it wasn't based on material that I didn't pass. Like, had I
Right.
passed, I might not have discovered all of the different resources that are available on that website. So it could be, yeah, for reasons that I don't even, that I may never know,
Yeah.
that led me down this path.
In my mind, things happen for a reason. There's always a reason why things happen. So you reaching for that alarm going off, there was a reason for it. Oh, the reason was I needed to find this website before I continued on so that I could learn this stuff so that I'm more capable of helping more people that need to be helped. So again, a reason why that happened, and a good
Right.
reason. So like I said, I'm a positive Nancy.
Positive Nancy. I like that. Cosmic, I'm banging the autism drum for the last day of Awareness Month, but quietly, because loud noises can be jarring. Right on, Cosmic. Happy Autism Awareness Month. I actually was not aware that it was Autism Month.
I have 2 grandsons that are autistic or on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Lots of people are talking about how menthols are banned in their area.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmic. Megan, the world followed Australia as far as the packaging. People just take them out of the packets so they don't have to look at them. Cog
Mm-hmm.
holders.
Yep.
Zenwin can get on StreamYard, just not Restream. Ooga Booga, ipso facto, men's, I wish I could read that. Channeling spell of creativity at Terra. Okay, I will take that. There's also a school of thought for color that says clash. And remember, there is profit in confusion, says Ben.
I like that.
Thanks for that, Ben. That makes it a little easier, actually. Well, we made it to the hour mark.
We did.
What else do y'all want to talk about? Is there anything else that we need to discuss here? Because I poured my heart out and shared what I'm going through. Yeah, Tony, you did too. Is there anything else that you want to add, Tony? Is there anything else that people in the chat want to add in terms of the topic this evening has been try again. We talked about, like Zenwen came on, we talked about quitting smoking, how that's been a process for her. A lot of people can relate to that in the chat. For Tony, she brought up school and how it took a few times to get through the process of getting to the degrees and all the minors that you studied. It took some time. For me, it's getting past this Medi-Cal test. I've had lots of technical difficulties. It's embarrassing how many technical difficulties I've had, but it could be for a good reason. You know, it could be that it was actually not my phone that wasn't taking pictures the first time. It was the app wouldn't allow me to upload the photographs. Like my camera was working fine, but the app that I had to upload to wasn't functioning. And then the second time, as some of you or maybe all of you know at this point, my alarm went off in the middle of the exam and the proctor ended it because of that. But the good news is that I get to retest. I get to try again. I think it helps a lot that the testing company has given me the ability to test again and not have to pay to take the test again. That's been really helpful. So I think while challenges happen, we're given little gifts along the way that kind of like, for me, motivate and encourage me to continue going. I think it would be really disheartening had I passed based on a timer going off and then not being given another chance. That would have been very disheartening, but I was gifted an opportunity to make it right. And I've learned some things since then that could be really helpful to somebody. Ben, how much flavor is really in cigarettes? I only smoked a week, but all I remember was smoke flavor followed by my friend screaming and burning flesh because my ashes fell on him. Wow, Ben, that's quite an experience. No wonder you don't smoke. Oh, and in terms of the flavor, it depends what kind of cigarettes you get, but there's a lot of flavor in cigarettes. And when you're addicted to it, there's not much that's better than that.
It's like this rush you get. So my thought is that, first of all, things happen for a reason. And as we go through life, there's going to be hiccups along that road, and potholes and hills and bumps. But if we take them one at a time, dealing with them as they come, whether it means we have to try to do something 3 or 4 times before we succeed, if we just keep moving forward, we will reach the goal we want. So don't look at a hiccup in the road, a pothole in the road, as, oh, I'm done. I'm just going to do what I want to do. Look at it as a challenge. Okay, so this came along, so now I need to do this so that I can continue. Or this happened because I was supposed to learn something new, like with you. And just keep moving forward. Keep that positive thought. I've got this. I can do this. And if you feel like you're struggling, reach out.
Yeah.
There's lots of us in this community that are here to be a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Anne Marie says, I'm too tired to keep trying. And I hear you, Anne Marie, and you're definitely not alone in this. I think when we're going through the process of giving something up or having to try again, because things are just keep coming into our plane of existence that make it hard or a challenge to get to the next step, it is hard to keep trying. And we do get tired. We do get exhausted. And that's exactly what I've been, exactly. Let me rephrase that. It's very similar to what I've been going through myself with this test. It's like I was ready to be done with this test several weeks ago. And because of one technical difficulty after another, here I am needing to take it again for the, it'll really be for the second time that I'll be taking the test again, but due to a technical difficulty. And I'm tired also. I'm very tired of this process. I'm ready for it to be over. I know it's a different experience than what you're going through right now, Anne Marie. But if you want to talk more, maybe Anne Marie, you want to come up sometime and have a chat, or maybe you want to do a one-on-one with me. Send me an email. Let me put my email in the chat. I know you've got a lot going on right now, Anne Marie. Zenwen, Mayonnaise Entertainment, I hear you. That's why I'm trying to quit everything bad that I'm doing and get completely sober from cigarettes and sugar and everything unhealthy. That's a lot to be giving up all at once, Zenwen.
It is.
Several people suggested I start vaping, and I thought, why replace one bad habit with another? I know it's better for you, but I don't need to start that one up.
That's true.
One thing I did want to mention that I have not mentioned yet is that on Thursdays, we have a meeting over on Discord. Let me get you the link in case you want to join us. It's free. And we talk about all kinds of things over there. There's usually a topic. Well, there's always a topic. But people are free to share on whatever it is that they want. I call it the face-to-face meeting because you can turn your camera on in Discord. We can see each other. If you don't feel comfortable on camera, you don't have to be on camera. You can just be on voice only. Or we've had people just in the chat before listen, and that's okay with us too. So you are welcome to join us on Thursday at 5:30 Pacific time for that face-to-face meeting. And I'm feeling kind of a wind down here. What do you feel, Tony?
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, right on. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. It was a really good conversation, in my humble opinion, to talk about things that we are having to try again and try again and try again over.
I get tired of trying, but just, take that short nap you need, and then just pick it back up again and keep trucking.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we need a rest, so we take a rest.
Yeah.
And then we pick it back up, and we're like, okay, time to do this again. So
yeah,
it's not always easy, but it can be done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, y'all, it has been a pleasure speaking with you all as always. I love you all very much. Thanks for coming and for being authentic. And thanks to Zenwen and Tony for coming up on the stream and chatting with us. And with that, I hope to talk to y'all soon. That's it. That's a wrap, folks. So I'll be here next week. Hope to see you on the Thursday Discord. And talk to you soon.
Bye.
See ya.